What's up, guys? I got my buddy Davis Cole here, Cole Combat Science. Check him out on YouTube. And my other buddy, Kody Steele, pro MMA fighter in the UFC, lightweight. He's a beast. And we're going to be going over some stuff that I think works really well for MMA, but something I hit my last match last night against Kyle Chambers. This like shoulder pressure and frame system that I use from half guard to kind of deal with when my opponent has underhooks when they're on bottom. So I had chest to chest. We'll go this side here. I had chest to chest with Kyle here a few times. And ideally, I want to get like my underhook and I want to get my crossface and maybe gable grip initially, right? And I want like heavy shoulder pressure. Eventually, I want to work my way to getting like armpit grip so I can really kind of free up my other hand. But ideally, I want my underhook and I want my crossface. Kyle did a good job about getting his underhook back. And whenever you get your underhook from bottom position, the last thing I want to do from like a top player is allow him to get to his side and allow him to get his shoulder in my armpit. Because his shoulder in my armpit, he's out. So like initially, as soon as he gets his underhook, I want to kill his underhook by trying to get my shoulder as far from his shoulder as possible, because I don't want my armpit to get in the shoulder here. So I got to kind of drop down as low as I can. My armpit's kind of like on his wrist and I'm closing my elbow here. And now he's on his side, so I need to flatten him out. So you can flatten him out with a crossface. You can kind of like walk with your hips to flatten them out. But my favorite way is to kind of like a combo of those things and roll to get my frame to the inside. And I just grip right behind his shoulder blade and I drop my forearm right on his neck. Now I'm not just downward pressure here because he can still sit up into downward pressure, but I'm taking my elbow and I'm flaring it under his chin to force the back of his head to the ground here. So I'm actually driving like under his jaw like this and pushing here, but I'm also still putting some downward pressure by causing like a point of contact here, so I can just kind of drop my elbow, similar to like a paper cutter choke that you would do in the gi, where you put your thumb in on the collar and you drop your elbow. So I'm just anchoring my hand here behind his shoulder and I'm dropping my elbow and then I'm flaring to keep the back of his head on the mat. This allows me to really sink my weight down and keep him from jacking me up, because really what he wants is to get back to this position, right? So this allows me to like push myself back down his body and constantly kind of lower on that underhook until I just want to get my elbow back to the inside. So this is something that I was doing a lot in the match, because I was just kind of like pushing on their jaw here, flaring my elbow, controlling the shoulder, sinking my weight down, and then getting my underhook. But once you get your underhook, it's a pretty easy transition to get shoulder, to use this to kind of build chest height again. And as I do that, I start looking for my crossface. And then we can start working back into all of our systems for our crossface. But killing the underhook is the most important thing. If you don't kill the underhook from the top half guard, they're going to get out every single time. So I can have really good underhook position or cross-facing positioning. And if he has an underhook, I'm going to start losing. So I need to work my way back down his body, out pummel that underhook, and work back to my crossface. You want to try it?
Yeah, I want to try it. Maybe I try on this side. So let's say I start here, like let's say I got past here, because like I feel like sometimes like for me, like I always, to keep someone flat on their back, I'm always looking for like at least control. I always look for a near side underhook.
Yeah.
But you didn't really look for a near side underhook. You were like thinking more just like trying to get to the head.
Yeah.
And then so like if I want to, most of the time, say MMA guys or whatever, they want to try to get this underhook. If I come here, I want to frame here first, right?
Yeah. I mean, like the first thing that I want to do is try to get this hand like as low as possible. Yeah. Like I try to think like I get my elbow like wrapped around their butt cheek, you know? Yeah. And my armpits on their wrist. And then now once you have this frame, you can just kind of like wing your elbow to glue the back of his head to the mat. That's like the most important step, is making sure that his head stays on the ground. Because if he starts to sit up from here, that's where he's going to maybe like, if he gets his head off the ground and starts to sit up, that's where he can maybe like create like a rocking motion to like use that momentum to generate more underhook pressure, you know? Yeah. So you just need to really make sure you sink heavy on that underhook and you keep him flat by gluing his head to the back of the mat, by winging your elbow, kind of flaring from there. And then you can drop weight into him too to make it uncomfortable, but it's all just kind of keeping him flat till you get your elbow to the inside of his elbow. And then now you can pummel for that underhook, grip the shoulder, and then switch back to the crossface. And that's all I'm really looking for. I'm not really looking for a near side underhook much. Okay. The only time I really look for a near side underhook is if like they're building to their side like crazy and I need to flatten them out. But most of the time I can just flatten them out by doing things like this.
Okay. And then let's say I'm here. I have this, see how my hands are? I have this shoulder pressure. And, I'll go for it. What kind of my hands doing here? Like, I'm either going to be here, Gable, or I'm going to try to lock this. And like you were saying, like push into here.
Yeah, so that's like the second portion. I can kind of show from there if you want.
Okay.
But,
how does this feel? Does this feel good?
You're not
Get the center.
touching my chin enough.
Okay.
Yeah, but keep your elbow down. Yeah. Just press upwards. Yeah.
Like that?
It feels good. I can feel it stretch my jaw.
Do I need to, I don't need to switch my hips though, do I?
No. Well, I mean, you can keep your hip down if you want. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I like hip down so I can keep my weight heavy.
Feels good.
I'm constantly blocking that inside knee. So he's
with him.
Do I need to be more this or more?
Well, I think the up, but more down at the same time.
What the?
I can do it on you.
Push my jaw that way. Yeah.
I can do it on you too if you want to feel it.
Yeah, let me feel it real quick.
Yeah, so I'll be kind of like here. And if you got that underhook, I'm like killing my underhook and I'm trying to get this and I'm pressing your head into the mat. So I'm just trying, like if I'm driving straight down, this is not much. And if I'm just pressing up, whatever.
I think I was like flaring.
Yeah, this is like, you're probably going to clear that if you push my elbow, I want like a lot of downward pressure, but then I want upward pressure too. So I'm like, this is uncomfortable and it's keeping your head on the mat too, Like you can't sit up from here. It's be really easy for me to out pummel that underhook.
Got it. Let me try Davis. That's definitely what I'm missing.
This side again?
On this side. I'm here. I'm going down and up.
Yeah. And then now you can start to bring your elbow to the inside of his elbow. Yeah. And you don't really risk like getting off balance from there because he's not going to be able to push you to this direction.
Yeah.
You have like that stopper.
And then let's say, look, you see how my body weight's here? I'm a little shallow with this crossface.
Yeah.
I gotta just pull myself up.
This would be a good time to grab the side of his ear with your hand. And then you're going to like pull your elbow off the ground and kind of like turn his face as your head goes to the mat. And then now you can readjust by sliding your chest on his face, yeah. And then you can drop your forehead back to the floor, yeah. And just kind of put pressure from there. I like the gable grip, but like what I was using in my match last night, I can show for the audience to see also. Last night, what I was doing is once I got to my crossface and underhook, I was walking my arm to get a lat grip here. So what I have is I have my, ideally, most of my middle finger, but I want like all of my fingers in their armpit and I get as deep of a grip as I can in their lat here. And then now I pull everything back. So I don't want to like put too much weight going forward because I just don't want myself to be off balance. So everything comes back and then now I add like a C grip. I take my hand as a C and I wedge it in his armpit. So I'm just kind of like really trying to shove his shoulder into his own neck even more. But most of that should be done already with my initial hand. This just is secondary to stuff everything in. And then now I'm just switching my hips and just driving all my weight through my shoulder. And that should put him to sleep. Like, that's what happened in the match. Like, Kyle's coaches was like, shoulder pressure is just shoulder pressure. Don't worry about it. And I think he just like, okay, I won't worry about it. And then realized, oh, too late. I'm getting choked. So then he just like panicked and threw that frame up. And that's when I passed him out and got my arm triangle back take thing.
So I'm here, I'm framing down and up, and I'm here, and then battling here. I'm battling here. I shoot this crossface. If I can't, then I can pull his ear, adjust, grab this, and then I'm here.
Yeah, and that's where you can walk your hands kind of in opposite directions, And just to close the distance between his ear and his shoulder. That's really like the main thing that I'm looking for is to get like their ear to their shoulder as I get the armpit grip. And then now everything else can just be additional with this. And sometimes this is even something that I'll do if he still gets his underhook somehow from here. You can keep this wedge because this also keeps you kind of lower on their body. They can't really jack up their underhook here. And you can just cook them from here, which I did a little bit in the match as well. So then now, like, if he does start off balancing you a little bit, you just switch back to that forearm across the face. And you're back in the same position, So if you're putting a lot of pressure from here and he starts like kind of squirming out, right?
Wiggle or something.
Then now you can switch back to the frame, kill the underhook, and then now we're back to the same thing where you're kind of like forcing more pressure from here. So you just kind of get choked, and then you're constantly killing that underhook and working back into the crossface. Turning the head, getting that armpit, punch that hand deep, bottom hand, yep. And then now add that C grip support and then just drive through here with your forehead on the mat. Yeah. And then eventually he's going to frame because he's freaking out. And that's when your C-grip slides into the elbow to clear that frame. And then now there's not much that he can really do, especially if you have toes in on the inside of his thigh, which I primarily try to do. Yeah. And then that just allows you just to like skip the half guard, straighten them out, and go straight into your finish, you know? And then he just exploded to his, you know, belly down, and that resulted in me switching for the choke.
And then when you're going for this choke, your chin down, I'm here and I'm trying to get my hand crossed and then get his chin between my two wrists.
Yeah, the key with this position, if the camera can see, is his chin is in between his wrists. So it's kind of in that V there. You can see it's not in the crook of the elbow and it's not straight on. It's in between his two wrists here. And that's what is like the best face crush, I think.
Yeah. So you're always trying to just get here.
Just there. Once you have that, you should be able to lock it up. Yeah. And then you just crush by bringing the elbows down and back. Yeah.
Sorry, dude. Is you good?
Yeah, it's bad.
Sounds good. Feels great.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Sick. Well, yeah, that's kind of a breakdown of the shoulder pressure I was using in the match and the forearm pressure that I was using to kill his underhook. And that results in them being very uncomfortable, kind of getting choked from both things. And then eventually they're going to kind of panic. We have a term that we use, if I'd actually called cooking the beans. So you just kind of like cooking the beans, letting them simmer. And eventually they're ready to just kind of give you whatever you need. They start framing, overextending, you can clear that. They just gave you what you wanted. And you're not like really risking losing position by making big drastic movements. You just kind of pressure. They're really uncomfortable. They frame, you clear the frame, and then now you mount. Rather than just mounting when they're like in good position, if you know what I mean. So nice little breakdown. Thanks, Davis, for helping us out. And thanks, Alec, for shooting the video. We'll see you guys in the next one.